Okay, today was trade deadline, but I think we could go on and say it was trade deadline week.
Yeah.
Yesterday was more of a deadline than
Holy
today.
fuck, though! Like, what the hell? What this past week in the NHL had to have been the craziest amount of NHL trades I've ever seen in a long time. Okay, so look, before we get into the other teams, because I think it's important to talk about the other teams here. Here, let's just recap real quick what the Canadiens did, what Kent Hughes did on the trade deadline. So the first trade came in. He traded Nate Schnarr to the Kings for Frédéric Allard. Allard is basically a defenseman that's going to be playing for the Laval Rocket. It was reported that he's going straight to Laval right away. And then after that, the Pittsburgh Penguins acquired Nick Bonino from the San Jose Sharks, but the Canadiens were a third party in there to retain 25% of that salary, and in return, they got a 5th-round pick and another defenseman by the name of Tony Sund. I can't pronounce his fucking name. I think he's a Finn that's playing out in the Swedish Hockey League. So, was this expected? They did.
Yes.
They did warn us, saying it's probably going to be a quiet day for the Habs on trade deadline. Turned out to be so. Honestly, am I disappointed? Slightly, yeah, because I was just hoping. I was hoping maybe he got rid of one of the deadweight contracts. You know, we mentioned names like Drouin. We mentioned names like Hoffman. Then there was rumors. You know, there was big rumors surrounding Joel Edmondson. I like the guy. I don't want him to leave, but figured there might be a good return for him. There's constant rumors of Josh Anderson. And I know Chris and we debate about that big time. I don't know if you guys saw Kent Hughes' press conference. But to me, the statement, the ultimate statement was, and he said in French, he goes, for sure, would have loved to have done a trade or two, but the offers we got did not make sense or did not fit into our future plans. So we decided not to make any trades. To me, that's a sign of a smart GM. It's a sign of someone that will not make trades just for the sake of making trades. Like I think him and Jeff Gordon are really thinking this, like they're really giving this a long and hard thought that like, no, we're not going to fuck up this rebuild or retool or whatever they are at this point. So I want to hear your thoughts, guys, because to me, it's like I'm just happy knowing that Kent Hughes avoided making a trade just for the sake of making a trade. And sometimes the smartest move is not making any moves. So I'm leaving the floor to you guys.
I'm disappointed, obviously, not because of Hughes, not because of Gordon, not anything that the management did that disappointed me. Just the situation that happened, because Montreal had a real opportunity to deal some of these players. Edmondson, what's his name?
Monahan.
I'm having a blank. Monahan, because he hasn't played for forever, which he mentioned, by the way, in the press conference about Monahan and his injury. So he got re-injured, by the way. So
yeah,
just bad luck.
It wasn't the foot, which
That's
was actually reassuring.
That's right.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a good point. It's a good call, but no, it's disappointing in a sense. So these were two big pieces that we could have moved for draft capital, and we didn't. And other teams moved very quickly because Montreal had players that were unsure to be healthy, and teams didn't want to take the gamble. I never thought Anderson or Savard, some of the other veterans, would have been in play. So I never considered him from the start. But if they would have traded Savard, it would have been a miracle. But I don't think it was ever a plan to trade Savard, nor was it a plan to trade Anderson. Would I have traded either one of them? Yes. I've always expressed my concerns with Anderson's contract as he gets older. And with Savard, he's only going to have a year left. I mean, it's good to have veteran presence, but if you have Edmondson, because you can't trade Savard, I mean, try to trade one or the other. So overall, I was disappointed in their deadline. I wish they could have done better or something as of last year, but it won't. I mean, could it impact a bit of the rebuild? Maybe. I mean, having more draft picks, you could have found another diamond in the rough, whatever case is, but they have a lot of picks coming up regardless. So I think they'll still come out good with this. But yes, it was disappointing.
Okay.
Joke. Okay, I'll go. Look, I wasn't surprised, much like you guys, especially with the news leading up, with the injuries leading up to the deadline. Um, I thought actually the only thing that was kind of a surprise, um, I thought something more might have come, like maybe a random name. I thought we might hear a little bit more rumblings on Dvorak, a little bit more on Josh Anderson. I'm very happy.
The day started actually with rumors circulating around Dvorak.
Yeah,
Apparently, we were getting calls for him. So
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Very happy that Anderson stayed for now, at the very least. What you said about Kent Hughes, I like the fact that the guy's not making trades just for the sake of making trades. He knows the value of his players. Um, and another thing too, it's kind of a statement to the other GMs that we're not just going to give away our players for anything. We're not just going to give you
Tampa,
what you think is the best offer. We're going to get a fair value for our players. And I think the one point, just not to be repetitive and say the same things as Joey, maybe, is I see this potentially as an opportunity to re-sign Monahan. I think he's a fantastic leader. I'd like to re-sign him for maybe one more year. If he can stay healthy, then we might end up being able to go get that first round pick at the end of next year.
That's the big if, right? The healthy
1 year at 1 million, because this guy, he's one injury left becoming either RoboCop or Darth Vader. So
absolutely, but would you not take a gamble for $1 million, for $2 million even? I think that's a steal, because if he stays healthy,
that's the big if.
If Monahan was a healthier player, for sure, but he's not. Like these issues have cursed his career. They've lingered and cursed his career way before he became a Montreal Canadian. And I agree with you. Is he a good leader? Yeah. I mean, when he was healthy on the lineup, like a kid like Juraj Slafkovsky was thriving playing with him. We saw it. We saw in that goal, that game against Calgary, when Monahan made his return to Calgary, right off the face-off, made a play, and Slafkovsky buried it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
dude, he's too injury prone, man. He's too injury prone, and it's unfortunate because I like the guy. I really do. I agree with everything you said, but 1 million, if he does get a contract for the rest of his career, it's going to be under one year conditions.
You know who I'm going to call him? No, he's going to be if we sign him for one more year, he's going to be Cinderella Man.
I hope. What scares me with Monahan is we have too many guys like in his situation. You got Edmondson, Gallagher, and Byron already. That's three off the top of my head that are very injury prone. One is likely done.
But Byron's contract's over.
I know, but I'm saying, I'm not even saying just presently. I'm saying what we've gone through and what we're going through. So past players and even present. You have Gallagher and Edmondson.
And honestly, sorry, Joe. Go ahead, and I'm going to finish.
I was just going to say, and we've been complaining about injuries, medical staff, everything for the past 2 years. Well, it doesn't help the medical staff if you sign guys who are injury prone as well. It's a balance.
And all depending who they draft this year. Like, let's listen. If they draft within the 6th, 7th, 8th mark, even if they draft a sentiment, okay. Besides that, I'm trying to be, but I'm also being realistic. Did Kirby Dach not earn his second line center spot?
Yes.
You're still going to have Dvorak, and then you're going to have Jake Evans coming back, who I think is an excellent fourth line center.
I prefer him on the right wing still, man. I still prefer him on the wing.
I do. I like him on the right wing too. I agree with you, Joe, but right now, who do we have? Unless Owen Beck has the training camp of his life, I don't see. And
you think he's going to make it yet?
I say give him one more year in junior. But hold on, I might play devil's advocate here or extend an olive branch here. What if they feel like, no, Kirby Dach is better off on the wing? Maybe they do decide to bring Monahan back for 1 year.
It's possible, but how many games is he going to play is always the question.
Well, that's the ultimate question.
Why don't we just put Drouin back at center? Why don't we just experiment again for
the Okay. Speaking of Drouin,
I mentioned him. I'm glad you're going to mention the quote about what he was going to say, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead. That's why I mentioned
saying his contract is he didn't say these exact words, but basically his contract was the problem.
His shit.
Yeah, and
It's
nobody
not-
wanted him, so it's
So,
it's over.
well, hold on a sec. So, Chris, you said earlier that like it's a message to the other GMs that we're not going to get, for lack of a better word here, lowball. Do you think some? I think some GMs try to lowball him.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I seriously wouldn't be surprised if some of the GMs
Lowball.
are like, "You're not going to get anything." But that's the thing. You're talking about professional sports here.
Mhm.
You might be giving a team, and I won't even go and say a rival team, but you may be giving another team a competitive advantage. And as much as that might be like, well, who gives a shit or whatever, like you don't want to be the guy who's going to trade a key piece or a key asset that's going to end up, doing something magical in the playoffs and being the reason that another team won or advanced or knocked out. You
Mhm.
know, could you imagine? I'm just saying, maybe put yourself in Kent Hughes's shoes. Imagine a team like Boston. Imagine a team like Toronto. Imagine even a team like Ottawa, who's making a push, that have good players that might be able to, get Drouin going. They lowball you. You have to watch Drouin go to one of your potential rivals and perform.
Well, now more than
Fuck
ever,
that.
I think now with the way the divisions are and how like the playoff format is, I think teams, I don't see teams making deals with other teams within their division because
Yeah,
they got to face them at least twice
Yeah.
in the
yeah, fair enough.
playoffs. So it's
and
not
it-
so that's not going to happen.
and it's basically the mentality of like, I'm not going to be the only one to lose here. If I'm going to lose, you're going to lose as well. And I think that's what happened with some of these guys if they gave them shit low ball offers.
How true. However, I do think Chris. I think wow, I was going to say Bergeron. I think
Oh,
Hughes. I think
blast from the
Hughes was
past.
going to get. I don't even think he got any offers for. It's just my feeling. I don't think he got any offers for Drouin at all. I think he would have accepted a low offer for him, but nobody wanted to take a chance on that contract. I mean, I would have traded him
think so
for
too.
2 Putsins and a free trip to Cuba. I would have given him for free. Really,
Jesus.
I'm serious. I
2
would have just
Putsins.
gotten rid of him.
Well,
I think puts in. Imagine, I would have gave it to you, Sam. Seriously,
Mickey, I'll eat that Poutine like there's no tomorrow.
and I'll enjoy every second that Drouin is not in a happy.
no,
I don't think he got any offers, really. I really
No, I
don't
think Kent Hughes did try, and I think whether the bullshit excuses were, well, look, man, his contract is just not.
Shit.
Well, no. Here's another thing that I forgot. A detail I forgot. They probably asked him, "You got to retain half," and he said no. Because don't forget, guys, you could only retain 3 contracts at 50%.
Yeah.
Who was the second one?
Well, they retained Gurianov, they retained Dandanov.
They
That's right.
did
And
the
they
job with
broke it
Bonino.
for
And
Bonino.
they retained Bonino. And Cantu said, he's like, you could only retain 3. I don't know why I'm here.
These fucking rules, though.
Well, dude, the rules are the rules.
Before you
Like,
go up,
I'm sorry.
to your next
no,
point.
That,
Wait,
No, Duke, it's a good rule.
No,
a good rule.
it's smart, dude. He's smart. He said this. He's like, I'm not trading Drouin. Well, he didn't say these words, but basically, if you read between the lines, he wasn't going to retain Drouin's 50 salary at 50%. What if he wants to do that come the draft and he gets a good trade offer?
I just
Yeah, but
wanted
isn't
to
he a
say,
free agent? How many more years does Drouin have?
He's not a free agent until July 1st. The draft is when's the draft? The draft is before.
Yeah, true. I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
No.
That makes sense.
Just saying. Okay, it could be, but it could be anybody. What if it's Hoffman? What if it's Dvorak? What if it's Safard? Or
Yeah, because
or
everything. I think everything resets on that day for the rules, right? Well, when does the season?
I think it's July 1st. I think it is July 1st.
I think everything restores itself July 1st. I think.
Okay, yeah. So then that would make sense. And Zook, no, it's honestly it is a good rule because then you're gonna have teams like Arizona just playing a broker deal for like 10 deals. It's stupid.
what I mean is also this. I think the whole excitement towards trade deadline has been ruined because of these fucking regulations that the NHL is putting. Even the salary cap is ruining trade deadline. I know this is a
Zook,
fucking
they want parity.
it's a wrecking ball here, but like I'm just saying, deregulate all that fucking shit. you're gonna have excitement. You're
See
gonna
what
have
they
things
want.
happening
They
that
want parity.
Don't take out your regulations on Formula One on
Fuck
the
it.
NHL and us.
It's
Okay,
all sports are suffering with this problem, though. It's even soccer, man. Just fucking, make it exciting. Make the fans engage. There's a mysterious trade there that's gonna happen. That could happen randomly. Like, why have these fucking rules? Oh, you have 3 people on LTIR. You have this. You have 4 fucking. You have 3 reserve the south.
that's-
Like, what is this shit?
Look,
Dude,
if
that-
you-
It's a fucking law exam.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what
that's
the fuck's
what-
the point of that?
that's what they negotiated in their
It's
collective
shit.
bargain
That-
agreement.
that's
It's
right.
fucking shit.
But
That's
look,
why
if you
fucking
pay attention
Tampa-
to if you pay
Goddamn
attention
shit.
to other sports, there are more exciting times for trades and big player signings in other sports than hockey. I
100%.
always said hockey players have the least amount of say of
Damn
like
it.
not of where they go, but
Not
in terms
Patrick-
of like big
not-
players leaving or forcing out a deal. than
Not
they do
Patrick
in other-
Kane this time. Not Patrick
No,
Kane.
but Sam, it did.
Yeah,
till
no,
the
but
end of his
I get what you're
career
saying.
happen. Like you'll
Okay.
never see a McDavid at 20,
There you go.
prime to ever leave Edmonton until the end. It'll never happen. But you would see a McDavid caliber in soccer or even in the NFL. You would see them change teams. It's just the
And-
nature of the sport.
And what's the biggest sport in the world? Not hockey. There you go.